Episode 69 Boomer Guitar Sessions. Today we are going to talk about Billie Joe Armstrong. We're going to talk about Green Day. We're going to talk about guitar solos. We're going to talk about composition. We're going to talk about a whole bunch of stuff in a pretty short period of time. So this one is going out to my son. My son found his first rock and roll band that he likes. He saw Green Day with Rancid, Smashing Pumpkins, with the Linda Lindas, and Green Day was like the winner for him. I'm just happy that he likes Green Day, likes rock and roll, because it's like a lot of people from his generation don't. And I don't know. I like rock and roll. So anyway, so what we're going to talk about is his favorite guitar player is Billie Joe. What does he do? What did he do differently? Okay, so he was back in the day. I remember Vito Grippi bringing in Dookie for the first time. Whenever the month that came out, Vito had his hand on the pulse of what was happening. He brought it in, and I probably taught Longviewer when I come around, and it was a completely new thing, and they were underground and all that kind of stuff. So what did he do differently than all the other punk rockers of the era? He caught a lot of crap because stuff had a lot of melody in it. He caught a lot of crap from the punk scene that he was involved in, the Gilman Street, Berkeley, California scene, because he wasn't like indie enough, and it wasn't unapologetically nasty, kind of like the punk scene was at that time in Berkeley, California. And that was what it was thought to be punk rock. His stances on human rights, his stances on unpopular things in some communities kind of makes him more punk rock in my eyes. So with that said, what I love about guitar solos, what I think everybody needs to start with when they're talking about getting started in playing guitar solos, is the idea of melody. If you don't have a melody, you don't have a guitar solo. Okay, I can't even, I went through this years ago trying to think of a person who just wailed and didn't have any melody, and you couldn't really find it because it was such a racket that is not the kind of stuff that would get signed. Okay, sure, you have noodly stuff when people are whatever the noodly stuff is. That's great, but it's usually the noodly stuff is usually wrapped around really important notes or melodic phrases or something like that. Like when I say usually, like almost always. Okay, now Green Day, I think, is a great place to start. I think of other people. Other people come to mind, like Mike Campbell of Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. A great place to start with learning guitar solos because they're so melody conscious. Melody, in case anyone doesn't know, my definition of melody is anything that can be sung. We want to have those parts in our guitar solos. So this lesson is for Rowan, my son. 21 Guns guitar solo. We're going to check it out. First thing you want to do is just learn the guitar solo. It is a melody. Learn it like it is a melody. You don't necessarily have to know what the music theory involved is right away. Just check it out. So the first batch of the first phrase, okay? That's your first little half phrase. Okay. Again, Billie Joe had the ability to write songs. He had the ability, when I say songs, catchy songs that could last, could go beyond the Gilman Street. They were his songs. They were a mix mash of everything he was into. If he told you that from 3 years old he was punk rock, he'd be lying, and he never said that. It's like the Beatles, pop music, Van Halen, MTV were all influences in his life. So that first phrase. Finely sculpted guitar solo, like David Gilmour. He's another one that comes to mind when it's Comfortably Numb. I think is a perfect guitar solo. It's a melodic guitar solo. Some of these guitar solos, unlike the one in 21 Guns, I think you should learn absolutely note perfect. Okay, some guitar solos are that way. Angus Young, You Shook Me All Night Long. If you play anything other than that, you're wrong. My opinion, but my opinion counts on this in Boomer Guitar Sessions. Other guitar solos come to mind. Let's see. Anything that Mike Campbell of Tom Petty does, it's compositional. All right. Anything that Slash does. Okay. And what's great is all of them use some of the same theoretical principles that we're going to discuss in the next part of this. So I'm going to go over that whole first half of the solo, or maybe even first third of the solo. I don't know. Anyway, this first part of it. All that is over this chord progression, and this is important. All right. Now the second half of that is going to be a duplicate of it. So we'll do it again. Then this thing wraps up. The third part of this solo, it wraps up in this. Let's try that again since I blew it. No edits here, people. No edits here. So it is that first thing we learned twice. Plus it goes through over a B flat chord, and we'll discuss this then. So your first step when you're wanting to learn how to play solos is to get down some solos that are singable, that are easy, that are not hard. That, in other words, they're singable. The other part of this, and this is what I appreciate about Billie Joe, is none of his stuff is kind of lick based. None of his guitar solos, he's not playing blues licks. He's not doing what a lot of other people do. He's doing stuff that is compositional. Like when he writes his solos, none of it is improvised. Okay? It is a melody that goes through the chord changes. Okay? So it's compositional, it's not improvised, it's not cliche written. It's not a lick that he's not some fast lick that he's learned, that it applies to everything. All right? So with that said, what is he doing? So the first part, that's just outlining an F chord. Okay? So that's just outlining an F chord. When it gets to this chord, that's a C/E, which is a C chord. That's going to be your fifth, which is a chord tone. And then it goes to and then the third. That thing right there, that's outlining a D minor chord. Then it goes that note right there is thirds. The thirds are the benchmarks of his guitar solo. So in the case of that's a third of C. D minor, third, all right, third again, fifth, third, root, third, fourth, fifth. Okay, so the majority chord tones. His solos are majority chord tones. This thing right here is a scale passage, but it's 2/3. Those three notes are 2/3 chord tones. Then you do that twice. This thing right here over a B flat chord is literally a B flat chord. That chord tones. Then it goes to F again. Over C, he's playing the third, E. So if you want to highlight notes in your guitar solo, the third is a really good one to highlight. If it is a major chord, it would be a major third. So this is my C note. Okay, that's the third away. Okay, in the D, that's your minor third. Okay, that's a third root. So anyway, that's the genius. This stuff is can be taken to great musical lengths into jazz, into Steely Dan. Larry Carlton has a similar approach that is not that much different. Okay, these are simply great guitar solos to check out when you're first starting out. It's good. It's good vegetables for you. All right. So in the comments, you will have a transcription of what I'm just playing here. So you don't have to just look at my hands and try to figure out what's going on. So, all right. This is Rod, Boomer Guitar Sessions, episode 69. Enjoy the process. I know you can do this. I'll see you later. Hi, this is Rod from Boomer Guitar Sessions. I personally wanted to thank you for being part of our community. If you like what we're doing here and you want to see more of it, please hit the like, subscribe, and share. And this helps me spread my musical messages to all over the world. Thank you. I appreciate you. And always remember, you can do this.